Welcome to Deep Thought. Ever think about creating a subculture? Hey, this is something, man. I definitely want to get your comments in. It's no right or wrong, on this channel. It's whatever you think, as long as you're polite about it. Okay. All I ask you to do is don't attack somebody. That's all I ask. But you ever think about just creating a subculture? Like a subculture, a subgroup, culture where y'all doing things a certain way. And actually, even though a lot of people focus on the larger subcultures, it could be the vegan community or goth community, the tantra community. If you get into a relationship or you just in a family, that's a micro subculture. I've had some friends who've lived in group houses and they had a distinct culture way they did things. So it's always possible. But you ever think about creating something? I don't know. It could have been like large, small, whatever, and everything. And like I said, I study cultures. I study subcultures and stuff. I might get around to, if I get some time, maybe even get a PhD in it. I'm seriously thinking about it. I would love to qualitative research I would have to do for that. Like hang out with a subculture. It'd be interesting. But you ever think about creating something just from scratch? Because in a way you if you get married and you create a family, there's a culture within that family. There's certain things that you're going to do. Think about it. Like, even though, I'm just with a co-parent now, even though we're divorced, there's a certain culture when we do stuff together as a family. Because my sons are big on doing stuff on laptops and iPads and everything. And, it's books in both of our places. So, well, the sons ain't big on the books, but still, it's a certain like learning atmosphere around. And that's a subculture. Like, we said, okay, we're going to expand this. We're going to find other people who are bibliophiles, love books, love the more intellectual side of things. We're going to start hanging out, because one of the things with creating a subculture is just creating a community of like-minded people. That's how you just started, right? Say you got a nice sized house, you got a basement, everything. And I don't know. Y'all like talking about ants. Hey, don't laugh. There was a tiny subculture I looked at one time of picky eaters. And then my son came up. My youngest son is he's actually a picky eater. He don't look like it, but he don't eat that much. He's very picky about what he eats. But that's a subculture. But it could be anything. You might start off with a few people. Y'all get together, talk about whatever the thing is, share the interest, play some video games. Some be having some little mini orgies, but that's the more sexual subcultures and everything. But then what happens? When you start that community, it starts to grow. Then all of a sudden that little house doesn't have enough space. So you say, oh, let's start having some events. But then you could start having other stuff that go along with it. What if part of the subculture is eating a certain type of food? Shoot, what if it is based on food? Hey, the vegans, seriously, that's how it actually started. It was like, let me use the vegan as an example. Think about it. You got whole industries that cater to vegans. You got whole industries, businesses, restaurants adding things to vegan dishes to their menus. The companies that makes the Impossible burgers, the plant-based burgers and stuff. Several companies now. Shoot, it can create something. But you know what? That's going beyond what I wanted to talk about with this one. But I will, I'll get into culture more in the next one. But think about it, though. You ever think about that? Like, what would you create? I think about that sometimes. I was like, well, what's important to me? I work out all the time and I read. I say, okay, some physically active people who working out in the gym who like to have multiple conversations. are like intelligent conversations. Hey, and somebody would say, well, how, what could you do with that? Well, hold up. Think about it though. Okay. What happens? Okay, y'all might work out together, then say, okay, why don't we got to have some healthy meals with working out. Okay, that's creating something. That's creating a community. We're having these intelligent conversations. We might even have like debates, discussions, everything. All of a sudden, boom. And it's just what you like to do. Because think about one thing about subcultures. Even though we know about some of the bigger ones that are really growing, it's a definite lifestyle. It's somebody can be free to be themselves. Like, I think everyone needs some group. Every single person needs some group that they can be totally themselves. They can look at their interests and stuff. It could be crocheting. I saw something about crochet groups and everything. Book clubs, and then, how people behaving and everything. You ever think about what would you create? And I'm serious. What would you create? And, as long as it's not advocating violence, I usually say I let everything go. If it's something advocating violence, I can't leave it on here because some people be watching. Hey, maybe create. There's a lot of subcultures now that focus on the days. Hey. Part of your culture could be like doing studies, like serious, like geopolitical studies or something like that. Like the sky's the limit, whatever activity, because ultimately, that's how they start out. Skateboarding. I mean, that's how they start out. Just some people come together. They got a similar likes, dislikes, whatever. The surfer culture. When I go out to San Diego in a few weeks, in July, I'm saying a few weeks. In July, shoot, they got a definite surfer culture, like on the West Coast, probably East Coast too. Any place on the planet, they got waves. Surf shops, everything. What would you do? And it could be anything. You might be starting something new or adding to something that's already there. I want y'all to think about that. You ever think about it though? Seriously. Let me know what y'all think about. As long as there's no illegality. And like I said, this won't be against you personally, but you'd be surprised what people be watching. Anyway, I know somebody's saying, Rom, you probably one of those conspiracy subcultures. I can't tell you because I don't know who you are. Anyway, you could be with them. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got for today. Get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.